Hey guys, so today's episode is going to be on solving proportions using cross products. So today in class we talked about this idea and we talked about different strategies to compare fractions, including using cross products. We also talked about how to set up a proportion and solve the proportion. So in this episode we're going to continue to talk about both of those ideas, specifically how to use cross products and how to set up and solve a proportion. So our first example, we have two fractions or two ratios that are equal. We do not know what x is though, so we need to solve for x. So when I look at these, I realize that I don't know what I'm going to multiply 0.4 by to get 18. Right? 4 is not a factor of 18, so it's not very easy to see what we can multiply it by. Now we could try scaling up 0.4 over 6, maybe to 4 over 60 or something else that's a little friendlier, or we could try simplifying it, but today we're going to be focusing on using the cross product strategy. So like I just said, we're going to focus on using the cross product strategy, even though there's other ways that we could figure out what x is. So what is the property of cross products? So this property states that the cross products of a proportion or a ratio are equal. So in this example, we could multiply 6 by 18 and 4/10 by x and set those equal to each other, like so. So now we need to simplify the equation. So we could simplify the left side of the equation by doing 18 times 6. So when we multiply 18 times 6, we'll get 108. So now the left side of my equation is 108. So now on the right side of the equation, I realize I want to get x by itself, or isolate x. Right now it's not by itself because it's being multiplied by 0.4. So I want to get rid of multiplying by 0.4. So the inverse of multiplying by 0.4 is dividing by 0.4. So if I divide both sides of my equation by 0.4, I will eliminate it from the right side of the equation, and I'll be left with x. So now all I have to do is 108 divided by 0.4. So there's two different ways we can think about solving this division problem. We can do long division, or we can change 0.4 to a fraction. So the first option is doing long division. I know that's not a division sign, it's a radical sign, but I couldn't find a division sign. Or we can divide by 4/10, which is the same as multiplying by 10/4. Either option works to get the same answer of x equal to 270. It's just whichever one makes more sense to you. So our second example, we want to solve for x again. So now we have 3.5 over x equals 49 over 56. So again, I don't clearly know what I'm going to multiply 3.5 by to get 49, so it's a good idea to use the cross product strategy. So to use this property, I'm going to multiply 49 by x and 56 by 3.5 and set those equal to each other. The next thing I want to do is I want to simplify. So I noticed that on the right side of the equation, I can multiply 56 by 3.5 and get 196. So now on the left side of my equation, I have 49 times x. I want to isolate x or get it by itself, so I have to get rid of multiplying by 49. To do so, I'm going to do the inverse or opposite of multiplying by 49, which is dividing both sides by 49. So when I divide both sides by 49, I'm going to get rid of it on the left side of my equation. So now I have x equal to 196 divided by 49. When I do that division, I get x equals 4. So that means that 3.5 over 4 is equal to 49 over 56, which makes sense because 3.5 over 4 is the same as 7 over 8, which is equal to 49 over 56 by multiplying by 7. So that's a way that we can check our work. Our third example is here. So this one's going to be a little bit more complicated because if you notice, our denominator of x plus 11 isn't just one number or variable, it's two things going on. But we can still use our cross products property. So when we use this property, I'm going to multiply 51 by 5 and then 15 by x plus 11. So now I want to simplify my equation. The left side is easy because all I have to do is 51 times 5 to get 255. But with the right side of the equation, you can do two things. you can either use the distributive property, which we learned about a couple of chapters ago, where we multiply 15 by x and 15 by 11 to get 15x plus 165. So then I have the equation below of what it would look like. Or we can get rid of multiplying by 15 by dividing both sides by 15. So if I divide my right side of the equation by 15, that's going to get rid of my multiplication of 15, and then I simply need to divide by 15 on the left side of my equation. So then I will have 17 equal to x plus 11. That one's going to be a lot easier to solve than the one above that's 255 equal to 15x plus 165, but you would both still get the same answer of x equals 6. So if I plug in x equals 6, I would be doing 6 plus 11, which is 17. So 51 over 17 is going to equal 15 over 5, which equals 3. So this is kind of a summary of the ways that we have learned to solve a proportion. So in this example, we have 5/12 equal to x over 36. So the first strategy is to use equivalent ratios. And that's kind of the easiest one, is that we realize, oh, 12 times 3 gives me 36. So then I can multiply my numerator by 3 to get 15. So x equals 15. The second strategy is to use algebra, which means that we think about multiplying both sides of the equation by 36. So this is kind of, they have it a little bit confusing, but thinking about x divided by 36, you can multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So that means it's going to get rid of the 36 on the right side of the equation, and then I need to multiply 5/12 by 36. So if I do that, I can cross simplify my 36 and 12. 12 will become a 1. My 36 will become a 3. So then 3 times 5 is 15. Or we can use the cross products property. So 5 times 36 is equal to 12 times x. If I want to get x by itself, that means that I'm going to divide both sides of the equation by 12. And 5 times 36 is 180. So 180 divided by 12 is 15. So all of these strategies get the same answer. And what y'all are going to be learning about is how to figure out which strategy is the best depending on the type of problem. So in this example here, I want you to think about which strategy is the best. Would you want to use cross products? Would you want to use equivalent ratios? Or would you want to use algebra by getting the divide by 21 out of there by multiplying by its reciprocal? And this is where we're going to start off tomorrow with which strategy y'all think is the best for this problem. So think about it. Okay, see y'all tomorrow.